It's starting. It is. It's starting. We are live. We are on air. Apparently, that's what it says. Anyway, I'm not seeing anything in the video that says we're on air. It's,
We are live.
oh no, there we are. There you go. Obviously, there's bound to be technical difficulties. There always is, especially after last night. Hello, good evening. It is Monday night. It is 8 o'clock, and it's time for some Doctor Who. Yes, that's right. I said Monday. Last night was a total debacle. Not my fault. That was entirely YouTube. But we are here tonight. Chris has joined us. Ian has joined us. And we are going to do Doctor Who. And this week we are doing Doctor Who Battlefield. I don't know if you can see that because it's quite dark in here. So, yeah, 7th Doctor episode, Battlefield. This episode, we were talking last night off air. And this episode is an episode that I want to say it's a missed opportunity. That this could have been one of the best made Doctor Who episodes of all time. Unfortunately, the person that they wanted to direct this episode was unavailable, and the person that they got was kind of inexperienced at doing this stuff. So what we end up with is a Doctor Who episode that doesn't live up to its potential. It's a bit shit. The story is good, but then again, the story was also expanded on, so there's a couple of plot holes in the story. It's a bit of a shame. I know the problem with this as well is that this one comes with a special edition. This is the Battlefield and Battlefield Special Edition when everything got a special edition. So they decided to do a special edition of this. And what they did was they edited it into a movie, and then they remastered it, and then done all special effects stuff on top of it. And it didn't make it better. In fact, it made it worse. But we're going to be watching the episode version, the original broadcast version tonight. And I'm joined, of course, with Ian and Chris. Chris, say hello.
Hello.
Are you looking forward to this one?
Well, you've got me to be fair.
I promise you, it's good for. I've been really looking forward to doing it because it genuinely is good fun, right? It's not. I mean, I know I'm not selling it, but it's an episode that, honestly, when you're watching it, you're gonna go, "Oh, that's a shame." And that's really what this episode is. This is a tutorial in how not to direct something.
Well, to quote you directly, tonight we're watching Battlefield. It's a bit shit. Is not selling it.
I know. Look, it is though, but that's the thing. The problem is though, it is a bit shit. But the thing is though, it's got all the potential to be something great. And that's the problem with it. That's the major problem with it. Because again, you got the Destroyer in this episode, and the makeup for that guy is amazing. It's just the way he's used, and the way he's used in the script-wise, he seems very viable. It's just the way that the director decides to block him and use him, and you'll see later on. Later on, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There's Nicholas Courtney. This is his final episode in Doctor Who. And we've got a returning Jean Marsh in this episode as well. So she was in 2 previous episodes of Doctor Who. I think she was in The Crusade and The Dalek Master Plan. And this was her final appearance in Doctor Who. This was her final appearance in Doctor Who, but she did make a cameo appearance in An Adventure in Space and Time as one of the party guests. So I've got my coffee. Ian's in the chat with us tonight. Hello, Ian. I hope you're ready for this as well. I hope you're looking forward to doing this as well. Because, again, it's one of those episodes that... This is obviously the first episode as well from the last season of the classic show. So this really sort of kicked off. After this is Ghostlight. After Ghostlight, it's... oh, God. Where am I blanking? It's Curse of Fenric. and then after that, then survival. So this is really sort of the end flow. What we get from this episode is some great performances from Gene Marsh is great. Sylvester McCoy starts turning a darker performance, and his performances really are the standout sort of moments in this. And I think it's just a shame, that this could have been. We could be talking about this episode and going, isn't that one of the best of the classic series? As it is, I mean, I think this. I stand by what I said. Like, I think there's a good episode in there that, if you were to re-edit it these days, re-edit it, rescore it, put it back out there, I think it would be amazing. But I'm ready to go. If you're ready to go,
Yeah.
I think we can make a start. So let's do this. This is the 7th Doctor episode, and this is Battlefield. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. I've got to be honest, I remember the first time I saw the 7D effects for the Galaxy and everything, and the tissue paper. They're supposed to be meteors. Incidentally enough, on my other channel, I have done a remastered version of this where I totally recreated the title sequence with modern visual effects. This was, I say modern, that was like about 10 years ago now when I think about it. Yeah, and it's in HD as well. So, but yeah, I remember first time seeing that, and I think I was at a Doctor Who experience, and it was like on a projection, and I started feeling seasick because the thing was moving around. There you go, part 1. Now, is my pad working?
Oh, fine. Doris.
Oh, show them it.
Yes, we talked about this last night as well, off screen. That Doris, Doris Lethbridge Stewart, is played by Angela Douglas, who was in Carry On Screaming, playing a character called Doris Mann, and the lead character in that was a character called Dr. Watt. So it's a bit of an in-joke that she's playing Doris in both with Dr. Watt and Doctor Who.
My grandfather days are long past.
So, this episode starts now with this whole Arthurian thing. This Excalibur and Morgaine and Mordred. What was that, Chris?
Not Lion-O then.
No. Yeah, it's the sort of Excalibur, not the sort of romance. And of course, there's Angela Bruce there, who's probably most famous for playing Councillor Murray.
Or Lister.
Yeah, she did play Lister, in Red Dwarf, she played it from the alternate universe. I think most people would probably would recognise her as Councillor Murray from Only Fools and Horses. Just because it's probably one of the most famous episodes where Del Boy and Rodney dress up as Batman and Robin.
Yeah. The last of the good episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the best. So, here's my problem here, right? They've spent little money on this, right? And I mean little money. Here we have the Dark TARDIS set. I don't like the way Sylvester's using that console. It doesn't look like he's pressing anything. He's just twiddling his fingers. I don't know whether or not he thought he was off screen or what. Maybe he just thought his hands were out of view. And you can see the state of that set. It doesn't even have the proper roundels behind there. Like that made it into 50th.
At least the rotor's not wobbling as much.
No, that console was very good. That console's gorgeous. It was never. You saw the lights popping on it there now. The reds and the whites and the greens, and it's. It's honestly, it never got given this sort of treatment. But and you can see how tight that set is as well, where you had to push past Sophie Aldred. It's very small. They really didn't do a good job of it. Again, everything in this is slightly underserved.
That TARDIS didn't look as good as the Cushing one.
No, it didn't. But I did. I think I mentioned how I liked the Cushing one.
That once or twice. Didn't make a big thing of it though.
No, she drops a line there. She drops a line there saying shame, and basically it's kind of the writer's way of saying the word shit without saying the word shit, and that's how she uses it. James Ellis there driving the 4x4.
Yes, actually. Sorry. Haven't introduced myself.
I tell you something else about this episode as well. This is probably the first episode where Sophie Aldred actually was able to show off her figure. Because she had a really curvy figure. Oh shit! Ignore that dodgy effect of a knight heading towards Earth with the head first.
The only problem I have with Ace is she's the only East End urchin that never uses the F word.
Yeah,
Gone, but
yeah, but it's I think what I like with that is that it's this season here from sort of this episode really, whereby she starts to lose the jacket and starts to lose the ace bit and starts becoming a bit more Alice, because she was originally envisioned as being sort of Alice in Wonderland, and because she gets swept away in a storm and ends up sort of on the ice world and then runs off with the Doctor. It's just that's how they sort of took her, sort of like this tomboy Alice in Wonderland, and she kind of drops the ace bit now, and she's a bit more. Particularly, especially when you get to Curse of Fenric. Yeah, some terrible, terrible shots in this. Like, there's no real. Everything's blocked to face camera. It's just not using things to the best of its abilities. Like, you've got no sense of geography from that. You're just looking down on a site.
despite all the lack of language, though, I really did like the Ace character. I think she's one of the best companions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, if you wouldn't have had Rose Tyler or Amy Pond without it. You wouldn't have had it. This is probably one of the only tracking shots, I think, in the episode. Yeah, and this is also, again, I mentioned it yesterday as well. This is the first time that unit is properly transcultural. Nice little moment coming right here now, which is there.
Yes, of course. This
Lovely little moment. So all on Sylvester though. Yeah, now so these knights here are supposed to be space knights. They forgot the space bit, or rather, they didn't have the money to do the space bit.
Well, they've got ray guns.
That's all they've got. They can be killed by swords, but if you drop them from orbit and they land on their head, they're fine.
I think I would have noticed a nuclear
Plus, you can't understate the quality of a decent helmet.
It's just.
all systems failures would result of a minor.
It's just like, again, it's underserved. Had they made him look a little bit more stormtroopery?
What? If it was on Daleks. Time of an Solarian.
anyone in the universe is nothing.
I kind of do like Brigadier Bombera.
Well done.
I like to bring her back as like a dame or something.
Yeah, they should. I mean, the woman's still acting, isn't she?
Yeah, she's in Hobby City.
When I served under
Well, I wouldn't know that. Not watching.
No, I only know that because I looked at the IMDb.
No.
What?
For goodness sake, don't look up Adrian Edmondson. He really is missing Rick Mao, I tell you.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen what he's doing now?
Well, he done the last Jedi, so the last thing I saw him in.
Oh yeah, but he's someone's new love interest in EastEnders.
Oh Christ.
It's quite a shot from Hammersmith Broadway.
So I don't really care for the way that they set up Bambera, but there, it doesn't really hurt the character later on because she kind of redeems herself. But I really don't like the fact that when they do these authority figures, that they have them go sort of this I'm in charge attitude and don't really rationalize things out and check things out. It does sort of pay off later on, like when Lethbridge Stewart comes into it, because he does say to her, who's the brigadier that asked about the doctor. So it does pay off later in the script that she is actually trying to find out shit. But most of the time when they do these authority figures, it's normally like, I'm in charge and that's it. You will do what I say because I'm the boss. And there's a bit of that in this. But again, it does work out better for Bambera later on. You both are aware of Paul Darrow. He hasn't died, have he? He hasn't been well. Oh, never.
Ah, for fuck's sake. Well, rest in peace, Avon.
Yeah. Poor sod. Yeah, rest in peace, Paul Darrow. I absolutely one of my favourite characters from Blake Seven. Yeah, you're the music. What were they thinking? Hello, Yaz. I mean, Shaolin.
Yeah, it was a bit 80s commercial, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yes, sir. On journey.
I said it's Axel who.
It's me.
It's one step away from do. But it's not as good. So, let me just click on this for a second. I want to get the actress's name right. Ling Tai plays Xiao Yong, and she's probably more famous from being in kids' TV shows. I'm not sure she really knew what she was doing with this episode. Nice little thing to come. I don't really remember what happened to £5 fines. I don't know if you can still get them. Yeah, but Xiao Yong, not much of a character. She's a kind of a bit an Zoid, yes.
Cracker Jack! Sorry, I can do that.
Yeah, she's kind of a bit. Xiao Yong's kind of a bit too. I'm not afraid of it. She's kind of a bit too. Isn't this weird and fun? As opposed to oh god, we're gonna die. I'm not saying that she's not taking it seriously. She has a nice moment later on with Ace, but right now she's kind of a bit like everything's really happy. And again, this is bad directing. You've got no sense of where anybody's standing. You know, I tell you what it reminds me of. Do you remember Naked Gun, where they're shooting at each other and then the camera backs out and they're like this far away. That's what you could do with this.
Earlier on, when I said that,
Pardon?
I said earlier on when I said at least they've got a ray gun. Obviously, I meant sparkler.
Oh, wait. Be grateful, because if you watch the special edition, they've inserted a special effect over that, and it looks worse.
Thing about it, this thing up out of the ground with a leg. Can't see it myself with that patient breaking about. I get the urge to buy half a kilo of TNT down the hole. Bring it all up in one go. Not to.
The point of archaeology is to carefully recover the past, not disintegrate it.
Make much difference. The only half decent thing.
I had such a crush on Sophie Aldred when I was a kid.
Yes. I'm a couple of years older than you, so mine was probably more advanced.
Yeah. But again, this was really sort of the first time you got to see her without that jacket on. She showed off her figure, like, and she was really like, ooh.
Finely stacked is the phrase you're looking for, my friend.
Oh, she was in good form.
But we respect her as a woman, and she's a fine actress as well.
Not keen on a fake argument scene later on. Also, the boom there, INES. Again, I don't think it's. I'm going to put it all down to the director, because the director is the person that said that take is the one that we're going with. And they could have done. I know there is a shot in this at some point where Nicholas Courtney mentioned that they had to do the take several times. So they chose the best take out of that, like 13, 14 takes or something like that. But it's it's really, it's down to the director. It's all down to the director. Everything's pushed in close, everything's pushed in tight. And the worst part is that there's some real well done, well choreographed fight scenes later on, and you just don't get a sense of the action. The cameras are all locked off, they're all static.
How zoomed in it is when they're on location for a lot of it as well.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But again, I'm blaming the director. The director really, as I mentioned before, Michael Kerrigan really only directed magazine shows. So if you imagine, if you're directing like Number 73 or Motormouth or something like that, you're going to be in on the person talking. And you need to be back. Show it. And he has no clue of action. You have no idea where these people are standing.
I tell you what, them Space Knights, the ones with the sort of spikes on there, do you know what they remind me of? Even though they don't really look anything like it. Do you remember the old 70s Japanese cartoon, Gatchaman? I think we had it as Battle of the Planets over.
Yes.
They look like the goons from that. The bad. Just the shape of their acts on that.
But I mean, like, they didn't have the money to do Space Knights, and they must have had something in the bloody back catalogue that they could have used instead. They must have had something in the Doctor Who wardrobe that they could have pulled out and gone, no, let's use that.
Well, I think Colin Baker left a shelf full of tinfoil for them, didn't he?
Yeah, loads. But it's just like, again, the sets look good. The location is stunning. Gundam from Warriors Gate.
That could almost be the same sort of place and house from Image of the Fendal, couldn't it? Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It is probably just a redress set, anyway. Now, this here is actually a light fitting. It's actually a light fitting that they bought. I think they bought it from like B&Q or something. And later on as well, again, you're going to see a hole in it, and you can see where there's a hole cut in the bottom for you to put the light bulb in. And it's because it's not perfectly round. It comes round like that, but then there's an actual rim for you to screw it onto a light fitting. Yeah, Angela Douglas. She is most famous for the Carry On films that she was in. Always played. You probably remember she was always the sort of the cute blonde, always in a bath or something like that. Always being chased after by the oh god, I'm trying to think of the cast names. I forget it. The cast.
Oh my god.
Yeah, some awful framing, and they're always shooting from side to side. They're all, you know, it's like it's not even like watching a tennis match. At least with a tennis match, you get an overview so you can see where everybody is. There we go. There's the grenades I said look like Rimmer's Light B. Yeah. Watch this. You want Ropey? Here's Ropey. I mean, come on, why would you do that? They even put the violin stroke in that. Again, it's about re-entry. What's the sword gonna do?
Serious, Professor?
Gunshot, like.
What's going on?
Does she seem scared at all?
Not really.
Worried? Yeah, you get some awkward, clunky stuff in this.
Can't see anything. What's that? Stranger.
I'm a Scooby-Doo impression. You freaky friends of this, I think it is. Yeah, that's on its way.
I guess we'll hope.
Again, one of the problems here is that the timings are all off, and because they've padded an episode, turned a 3-episode story into 4 episodes, like the timing, like he's about to take off the flight to London, then flight from London to where they are, and it goes from yeah, where he is, yeah, great actor. But they put a screw on with the timings, and it goes from morning to afternoon to night time to morning to afternoon, and it's just like, has it literally taken Lethbridge Stewart 2 days to go from where he is to where they are by a helicopter? The guy I like the look of. The guy playing Anselin is yeah. Anselin is Marcus Gilbert, and he has done quite a bit. I think he was. Oh God, what was he in? Army of Darkness. He was in Army of Darkness. Who are you calling friends? Yeah, that's the end of episode 1. Yeah, the guy I like is the guy who plays Mordred, Christopher Bowen, and unfortunately he has everything is just a little bit over the top, and again later on he's going to do something that's going to make you go, oh Jesus Christ. He's going to cackle and grin. So yeah, that's episode 1 out of the way. Setting up the story, Chris.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put it down as shit, but I can see what you mean by some of the camera shots and the effects and what have you.
Oh, you haven't got into the effects yet.
Oh, joy.
No, but the point is that, like, for example, like when the knight gets blasted, and they do the actual, Basically what it is a reverse of him jumping off a ladder. But they do this slow, and they even do the sound effect as well. I was like, what are you doing?
It's a bit slapstick, is what you're saying.
And it's like this throughout. It's like the guy Michael Kerrigan directing this is really aiming at a much younger audience, and everything's a bit too. Because even there's a moment where they pull up the guns later, and it's literally they pull up one after the other in succession, and the music even goes. I was like, stop! You're not helping yourself.
Get up the stairs, do they?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything's a little bit wah wah wah, and I'm like, jeez, this is not that sort of show. But everything's tongue in cheek, and again, some of the delivery is, it's not good, and it's not that the actors are doing anything particularly bad. It's the way it's been captured, and the director's gone, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and yeah, the Anselin's really, yeah, he's a good actor. So yeah, Christopher Bowen, who plays Mordred, is a good guy.
My hunch is right. The Earth could be the center of a war that doesn't even belong to this dimension.
Freeze! Everyone stand nice.
Homefront Lewis. Look, yeah.
You're under arrest, you wanker. Why are you calling freaky?
I can sort this out. If I can just explain.
I mean, where was the explosion? Did they just walk through a wall? I mean, what happened?
Lay your weapons down and put your hands in the air.
What if this is not the way?
Put the guns down!
Now that we're all here, let me introduce myself. I'm the Doctor, and this is.
I mean, there is a shit dog story here. It just didn't work. Wow.
Well, he's had enough. He's buggered off.
I prefer this coat on Sylvester as well. I was never fond of the like sort of beige. I think I would have replaced the jumper as well. The question mark. I would have replaced that with the waistcoat.
They really, really cut Sylvester just as he was getting into his stride, didn't they? They really did. This, you know, apart from the silly parts of this, as you say, I mean, it is a good story, just executed badly. But
Yeah.
all the stories in this, even Survival, they were limited by what they could afford, but that had potential as well.
Again, so if you try to imagine, we have to accept those nights for what they are, right? They're supposed to be interdimensional space nights. It doesn't quite. They say nights for sure, but they totally forgot the space bit. And it's just what they could afford, really. That's literally why they're like that. So you can kind of still work with that. You can kind of just go, okay, so they're from a dimension that really hasn't advanced in that sort of technology. They've advanced in magic instead of technology. I can accept that. That's fine. The problem is that there's now going to be a series of holes getting punched into the plot like this. Like, how long have they been flying? So that tells you that in the plot there that Bamber is actually inquiring about the Doctor.
Not you. I want to talk to you.
She does look like an old case, though, doesn't she, Angela Bruce?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorcery.
It's not an awful looking set. I'm going to say this. It's It's better looking than the 13th Doctor's TARDIS. I'm not keen on the colours. But yeah, everything's just done a little bit over the top. Yeah, those see the light fittings. See the actual holes on the bottom for the balls.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry.
And the way he handles the sword later, like he didn't have a proper sword that he could hold by the handle and just drive.
Come on, move it, please. Get it. Brigadier Van Vera.
You vanquished me. I threw myself on my mercy.
As of now, I'm in charge. Everyone remain calm. We'll soon have everything under control.
Again, a good looking set, nicely lit, badly photographed. Okay, here's one of my big problems with this episode. Watch this. Aside from the ropey lightning effects, that's semi-successful.
Where does that ball fit?
It's 3 inches to the left.
What's the leg?
Roger, Docklands 87. Commencing approach now.
How long have they been flying? How long? Where is she taking it? Mexico.
Life falls to life. Biomass to biomass. Energy to energy.
Well, they look like David Tennant in that shot.
To Avalon.
Sorry, Chris.
They look like David Tennant in that shot.
You're breaking up terribly.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was going to say that guy Maldred, didn't he look a lot like David Tennant in that side-on shot?
He's got a I think he's got a great look about him.
Yeah, the actor in that side-on shot really reminded me of Tennant.
And here we go. Father, love her back. You think the director? Yeah, can you imagine being on set and somebody saying, tone it down? No, he didn't. He said, tone it up, turn it up, give us more, not less, more. Ha 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 ha! Yeah. I don't even know why he's laughing. He hasn't even said anything funny.
I don't know. With lines like that, I'm waiting for someone to say he did that, and someone else say, "Oh no, he didn't."
I think he watched that bloody video that Ian sent us. Yeah, he's got the end now. What was he laughing at? No. Again, there was an earthquake. What shock? Did anybody, we saw the glasses fall off the shelf, but shake the camera? It's a ropey Quantel effect. So yeah, Jean Marsh now is stepping in and playing Morgan of the Fae, and we mentioned that she was in previous episodes of Doctor Who. She has the distinction of being the actress that was in Nicholas Courtney's first Doctor Who and his last. So she was in the first episode that he was in, Nicholas Courtney appeared in, and the last episode of Doctor Who that he appeared in.
He has a new countenance.
Has worn many faces. Merlin, hear me.
I hear you.
Stand against me this time. For your soul's sake.
And married to a guy, possibly. Yeah. We've got to be honest.
This be our last
I
battle.
will say though, she's saying that all wrong. As far as I know, it's Anal Nakrak Uspad Dopad Dokil Denver.
Again, like a weird cut. The sun's coming up. Let's have a look here. Okay, they're using paint box to change the colour of the sky. For some reason, they've gone for a pink instead of a yellow. It's just a bit weird. No, his spouse was John Pertwee.
How did it go?
Oh, you shall be able to see lipstick forms and half a pint of blood.
London for you.
Funny how it looks beautiful at sunrise.
John Pertwee from 1955 to 1960.
How about that?
I mean, like, what have they been doing? I mean, there's a bit of dialogue there. I'm guessing that he's had to get cleared for action by a unit.
He was in the south of France or something.
I don't know. Genuinely, there's bits of this I would just genuinely just chop out, just cut out.
Favour of love, really? Did have some help from Captain. Where did you find the scabbard? By that marker.
How long did it take?
Oh, about 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, Tony Robinson would have had it up in a day. Time team would have been in and done that. He's talking to his ass.
Still think 10 years is a long time.
That was lucky.
So yeah, the only link to Xiao Yung in this episode is the fact that she was helping him. It's never mentioned, brought up, or even that she's even interested in archaeology.
That must be long enough. Long enough for what? Nothing to worry about.
Again, she's the Yasmin Khan of a character. It's unfortunate, but
No. Explosives.
she's this companion, I think. But again, this episode does have a great, diverse cast in it.
One of these days, I have a nice long talk. But we'll see.
But they're not like slamming it into your face. You know, they're not.
No, they're just people. Like they should be just people.
Yes.
See if you can raise it from here. Can you speak Czechoslovakian?
Only when I'm drunk, sir.
But yeah, all of UNIT. I like the fact that all of UNIT is a mixed culture. That they're Swedish and Danish and French, and I like the fact that it's not made up of just Brits, even though they are in Britain. I mean, you'd be the British division. They've tried to make UNIT a bit more international.
Looks like
It is a nice touch to do that though.
I can't see a possible landing. Now, everything looks
peaceful. You are, Lieutenant.
yes, sir.
Well, check its limit. Take us in.
So apparently, all the helicopter shots, which is why you get all this forestry and that, all the helicopter shots were done in 3 hours. They think that's as much time as they can afford. So all the takeoffs, all the landings, all the getting in, getting out.
It's like an ornithopter that could whirl in blaze for wind.
The people of this world are obsessed with machinery.
Would seem so.
So, let us teach
Maybe not have the brig until this episode. Then no time delay problem. Yeah, there's no. I mean, you could have started off with the brig and Doris early on, but if you re-edit it so you have the brig later on, after the Brigadier Bombero meets the Doctor in the trailer where he tries the passes on him. Maybe then that's when you do go to the brigadier, because then I think it makes sense then that somebody inquiring about the doctor would forward it to Lethbridge Stewart. Well, no, I mean, she's just inquired to Unit about the doctor, and then Unit would have gone to Lethbridge Stewart and say, you know, somebody's inquiring about the doctor.
Yes.
You get us down.
So yeah, all these shots were recorded in 3 hours, and those. 'Cause they just didn't have the budget for the helicopter. No. No, they did have concrete back then. Bit of a problem. That is factually incorrect. They actually did have concrete. It's one of those things that you think somebody would have looked up as opposed to just written down.
£10 million worth of aircraft that we've lost.
It's paid for that.
We're in for the rest of our lives.
And there's the budget for the episode gone on a mock-up helicopter.
Something serious.
I'll see if I can get some help from the village.
I just don't like this framing. I've got to be honest, I don't like the way this is shot at all.
Get much worse than that.
Everybody is. It's like you're sitting in a theatre watching a play where everybody's facing the audience. The actors are trying, but the director keeps putting it there.
This is a shrine. Those fallen in battle.
They are not the savages you led us to. Walk off their soil without proper respect for the dead. You have dishonored Mordred.
When did this happen?
Victory upon
Because somebody tell me when that battle happened. I saw her shoot down a helicopter with lightning from her fingers, but I didn't see any battle. I didn't see any fighting.
what manner of man are you?
I find this dialogue to be a bit like Ursa from Superman 2.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, what
This with this whole exchange.
how goes the day?
I've had better.
I'm Morgaine, Sunkiller, dominator of the 13 worlds and battle queen of the Mistrax. What say you?
I'm Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. Surrender now, and we can avoid bloodshed.
Where's the doctor?
Did you know?
So apparently, James Ellis there felt he was underused.
But now delay not. Take the sword. If I
He felt he was underused, so he just started randomly spouting Tennyson. And apparently this scene had to be cut right the way back because he went on for about 15 minutes.
These people must have known. To me, this is no place for you.
Yes, sir.
It's the top of the pop stage, isn't it?
Another
Look at all the fog.
waste of time.
Not a local boy then.
Someone having a bite again.
Oh.
Let me see if I've understood you correctly. You are holding a remembrance ceremony of the dead of our world war.
I don't even know why you'd like the set that way.
And the duration of said ceremony.
Words are strange. That is the meaning, yes.
Right. What must I do?
We will never know.
Switches.
How are we going to get through the door then?
I'm not sure that it's important, I know, but I think it would have been nice.
It's me.
I wish you to know that I bear you no malice.
I understand.
When we meet again, I shall kill you.
That's a cracking line, though, isn't it?
It's her delivery though. I mean, you've got Nicholas Courtney and Jean Marsh having a face off, and she's. I mean, she could have gone for the hills on that line and totally missed. It's her experience as an actress.
Door key to my water bottle. Isn't something? Oh, yeah. In the future. Good in a bath.
There's the problem with this is that there's no real significance placed on what that sport is doing. Like, we know that the hilt is the pommel is lighting up and knocking on and off, but we don't know what.
Yeah, that's up there with the tank from Robot, that base, by the way.
There's the spaceship. It's supposed to be under the lake, and it's not the best of. It's
Not
not
exactly, is it? I mean, I know that the budgets were different, but
it's how you shoot it. I mean, you know, they did before this. There was Stingray and there was Thunderbirds, and there've been plenty of underwater model shots before that. The people doing this really should have known.
and them lights going round the staircase there, they just remind me of family parties from the early 80s.
I hope you haven't disturbed anything. And I hope you haven't disturbed anything else.
Oh God, here comes the green pea.
Ace, I think it's time for fun.
Again, I don't know. I don't know what he was going for.
Yes.
And Sylvester's doing his best to sell this.
What do you say, Ron? Run! Go that way!
Man, here comes the thing that almost killed Sophie Aldred. In fact, actually, I think it's in the next episode they actually show the tank shattered and her actually being lifted out by the stagehands. I think they actually keep the shot in. Awful paint job on the set. And on close-ups like that, you can see it's just painted on. And the story is not bad. So what do you think of the second episode?
It's pretty much what I remember, to be honest with you. It's not awful, but it's not brilliant.
The thing is, I think most of the time, they're building to something. Unfortunately, it's getting cut down by little bits of shit.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yeah, definitely.
And so every time it's making a gain, something is taking its legs out, or it's doing this, or instead of just trying to go up and hit the climax, it's actually going up and just bang, bang, bang. It's like going over a bloody set of speed bumps.
I think you hit the nail on the head yesterday when you said it's a really good story.
Yeah.
That's been let down by someone that produces magazine shows, and I think you've hit the nail right on the head.
I genuinely think this is a good example of an inexperienced director. Because again, if this had been directed by Eric Saward, I think this would have been a much better episode. I mean, I know Ben Aronovich, who wrote it, he also wrote Remembrance of the Daleks, wasn't happy with the way this turned out. But I mean, the story is the execution is what's letting it down. It's not the story, because it's a really good take on. You've got the Lady of the Lake. You've got instead of it being this mythological creature. Do I mean Graham Harper? No, I don't. No, I'm pretty sure it was Eric. There was. I'm fairly sure. Let me. I will check. So I think he was directing Boom. I'm gonna have a quick look. Watch this now. You'll actually see. It could have been Graham Harper. I don't know. I'm just. Here we go. The tank is about to go boom. You're not going to see it. You'll see all the glass cracked, the water escaping, and her being lifted up by stagehands. There it is. And that water leaking out there is actually leaking out all onto the stage floor. So they almost killed Sophie Allred and the stage crew.
The rose up out of the water, holding the sword in its mouth. The slate. I'll remember how in those old days, some of them, an arm rose up from out. Those it was. It's all.
No, that's right. Yeah, Graham Harper. Sorry, I don't know why I said that actually, but yeah, Graham Harper was originally on board to direct. He was directing Boom. There we go. Corrected. Thank you very much. It's a pretty shit Excalibur, isn't it? Like, if you want Excalibur, you want Excalibur.
Yeah, one of my favourite movie scenes ever is the end of John Boorman's Excalibur. Spoilers. When Galahad lobs the sword back in. I know the animated effect isn't brilliant, but the way the hand comes up, grabs the sword, and then drags it down with the music, absolutely stunning piece of cinema.
I actually did a stage show of Camelot, and the guy who was playing Arthur during the halftime with the curtains closed for the interval, he gives this big speech about Camelot, takes a sword, turns it like that, and just slams it into the stage. And we had this big, beautiful broadsword that was our Excalibur. And the curtains closed, and John, who was playing Arthur, walked off the stage, and the sword was still like this, so it was still on the stage floor.
I take it on the Camelot with a ham and jam and Camelot.
But it was just the fact that you went boom and then walked off. It just sticking straight up.
Yes. Who else would it be?
I mean, you know that floor is painted. All those panels on the floor are painted. Why would you do a close-up? It's a concrete stage floor that's just been divided up with a grill. Somebody's gone over with a roller just to make a grid, make it look like paving. And all these upward angles, all the time. Like when they were in the graveyard, he was looking up. When he was in the garden, he was looking up. Always looking up.
Seek out those who hold Excalibur and take the sword from them.
Yes.
Give them honorable death.
I love how glassy her eyes are. You can actually see the lighting behind the camera, like and these spots of light in her eyes. And she does this really good job of just not blinking, just holding her.
Right.
And there is a lovely moment coming up here just now, whereby
Yes.
well, you just see.
Respect. It is well that she is blind.
Okay, he was trying to make a joke there.
So, what have we here?
It's okay to cackle, even if the joke wasn't funny.
Ah. It's light in this grey world.
Don't move.
Am I to do nothing? Light and fire. Come, drink with me.
I like this Mordred because he's not a complete bastard.
Wish for kind words.
Who's this?
He's a bit of a prick.
A warrior.
He's a lot of a prick.
I would love.
I think he's just a bit of a lad. Like I don't think he's. This moment here, I think, is genuinely brilliant. I'll tell you. I'll tell you why after it happens.
Quietly, might. Now we know.
That's amazing. I'm sorry.
Like that?
The fact that she tortures her to death, and while she's torturing her, she puts a spell on her so that she can't scream. That's nasty.
Cold.
That is so that's like, I'm torturing you. Shh. I mean, oh, that is cold. That's just so cold. Just the fact that she just tortures somebody to death and tells them to shush while she's doing it. Oh, that's. Well, I do like the way that Jean is trying to use those long fingernails to. Like when she shot the lightning bolt earlier, she didn't do it like this. She did it like this. She's trying to use the props for what they are like.
I like a lot of the classic Who series. They do the best with what they've got.
Yeah.
Now I'm next.
But again, it's good to have actors that have done. I mean, she knew what she was walking into anyway. She'd done Doctor Who twice before, so she knew what she was walking into. I mean, I think she was in 8 episodes of Dalek Master Plan, and 2 episodes of Crusade.
Something's wrong.
There's a nicely timed effect later with this, and it does come down to the timing. We're going to give you these super sophisticated shit grenades that don't do anything.
Yeah, grenade looked a lot like the last one.
Yeah. Landed in exactly the same way. Watch this now. This is great timing, yeah. Boom! Bash! Straight in. That's not bad. That's a tricky one to pull off.
Yes.
Oh, good.
As long as Morgane's people are shooting at us, I think more obscure methods of attack.
Such as?
Don't know.
I don't want to find out.
See, I still find it weird that Xiao Yung's there. I don't even know why.
Right, Commander, will stop them.
Stop, come on.
More light fittings.
No, wait, come on. Why?
A copy of Greyhound will have to call it.
And there's a I don't want to say it. There's a bit I would definitely cut out.
Alternative dimension.
Yes.
Good.
And it's not to do with Bombera, it's to do with one of the knights. It's a terrible delivery. It's kind of very Ace Rimmer.
Yeah.
Actually, there it's even.
What are you doing?
Oh, Polly Tinnett setting up some right down there.
I get it that they're not making Winter Soldier, but for the love of God.
Brigadier, tell Bambira, she's in trouble.
So, you married or what?
Why?
Gotta help him.
What do you want us to do? The area is swarming with more games groups.
Swarming, there's 7 of them. He's supposed to be, just sort of in charge of unit. Cracking line coming up here. Good little bit with the brig. And the Doctor as well. There's a good bit here which shows that the Doctor isn't even quite just a normal Time Lord, because he's demonstration of powers.
Everything under control? No, sir. Don't worry, Major. You'll soon get the hang of it. Oh, this is the Doctor. And yeah, well, don't let him mind you. And this is Peter Walmsley. Ah, Mr. Walmsley. You've joined Mr. Robinson. Yes, well, excuse me. A few questions I want to answer. I have absolutely no intention of being angry. And I did.
You're very angry.
Of course we're angry.
You want to leave.
No, we do not want to leave.
I wouldn't stand for any nonsense.
Don't doubt it. The situation is simple. We are very angry. And we. We, so what happened? In our way.
I wouldn't dream of it.
No reason of this. At the risk of being baffled, sir, I have one more evacuee on my list. A young lady.
Nice little moment.
She seems to have disappeared.
Well, there you are, Major.
There are enough weapons here to fight a war.
That's the general idea.
Be useless, Brigadier.
Not this time, Doctor. Over here. What's that box, will you? Armor piercing, solid core with a Teflon coating. Goes with diamonds. Unstick bruise. Unit's been very busy, Doctor. We've also got high explosive rounds for Yetis and very efficient arm piercing rounds for robots. Those jet bullets for no one. Silver bullets.
No.
What about Sergeant? Silver bullets. Are they anything?
Get him! I love how prepared the over prepared the brig was to be. I love it. That line genuinely makes me happy.
To HQ. The seabirds are still operational. I repeat, the seabirds are still operational. Doctor, Bambera and Ansman are alive.
Are alive?
Major Cusack said they seem to be heading north from here.
What's the
You see, I don't even know whether they think that they're dead because all they saw was smoke. They heard a bang.
It's an accident. We're going to stop any engagement. Have you got a helicopter available?
But
Good to see good to see Bessie back again. Amazed they haven't brought it back for the classic show, for the new show.
Why, you're going to bring Morgane's whole army down on us.
Let them come. Not know I'm the best knight in the world.
Answer. In this world, we have a great and honourable tradition of tactical withdrawal.
You wish to run away? Well, there can be but 30 of them at the most.
You don't start running, I'll kill you myself. Now, come on!
Winifred,
What?
I have returned.
What?
It's a good bit. They kind of fall in love.
Looks like a piece of chalk.
But it will be
Again, why are you in so close?
A piece of
Tell the cameraman to take a couple of steps back.
I want you to mark a chalk, sir.
Not sure what Nicholas Courtney's doing there. He's trying his best to sort of fill the scene, though.
chalk.
Remember, stay inside the circle. Even.
Doctor. You're coming back in.
Ready, Brigadier?
Not for 16, but as fast as that.
Yeah. I wonder if this guy watched Back to the Future at all. There we go. Again, it's just
You say about that.
it's not that sort of show, is it? This is because you see what I'm on about, whereby this guy's really. It's just like you're watching a. You know, remember how they used to do like parodies on this, like Saturday morning shows of movies?
Yeah.
That's what this feels like. It doesn't feel like they're trying to make Doctor Who. It feels like they're trying to make a different kind of show.
The first sign of something strange?
Yeah, you can see the bottom of the. It's actually being lit off camera. They're just literally shining a really bright light in it and hoping that it refracts through the ball. You can actually see the hole in the bottom by your hand. Again with the upward angles.
We should sprinkle holy water. I don't know, it's not my mythology. What's happening?
So here's a good example. There's all this going off. Why isn't the camera down there? Well, why isn't the camera? Given that when you direct something, that you want to put the camera in the most exciting place to illustrate, so that you immerse the audience into the experience. Why are we looking at smoke? I mean, it's just
Bloodshed.
what bloodshed? All you can see is fog.
What did you call me? I said this is stupid. Deaf or something. No, you didn't. I heard you. You called me stupid. I'm not a freak.
So this is one of the things that they did do better on the special edition. We're doing the scene on the special edition. They've actually got people actually doing voices that are being played back as echoes.
Listen here, Toadface, just you shut your mouth or I'll knock your teeth in. I bet no one's impressed. Shut up. First chance he got, the doctor went off without you. Shut up! Shut up! I bet even your parents hated your dad. Shut up, you little stunter!
Their children strong on this world. Usher, there shall be an end to these games.
This again, it's pointless in choreographing fight scenes for this director because you're just not going to see it. You're just going to have people just shooting things off camera.
It is a bit pony, isn't it?
And the thing is, the choreography isn't bad. For some of the fight scenes, the choreography actually isn't bad. The problem is that you can't see it. All you can see is this. And then you get a reverse, see like this. Like, stop! And always with a bloody upward camera angle. Always looking up to people. Always. Where are you going to put the camera? Well, let's put it down here and look up. Stop! Yeah, that's what he said. The only camera angle which would have given us a good view of a battle.
This is no battle. It's but a ruse, a diversion. My mother had summoned Destroyer, the Lord of Darkness, Eater of Worlds.
That was yours, one?
Look to your children, Merlin, for soon they shall be no more.
I mean, they really are trying. They really are.
Power beyond your imagining. Surrender to me what is mine by right of conquest.
For some reason, they've gone for a costume change on her as well. I don't know why.
You shall be
Because she was wearing the body armor, but now she's wearing this sort of gold thing, and there's no reason. Very good looking makeup.
Pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's and the lip manipulation is good on there as well. So that's episode 3. We know one away from the finale. So we've built as much as we can build now. Everything's gone as pretty much ups and downs. But now we're sort of heading in towards the what is going to be sort of the culmination and then the sort of redemption part of the story, I suppose. How do you think that part went?
What was that, mate?
How do you think that part went?
Well, I'm enjoying it, but I'm really picking up on what you're saying about the tight camera angles and that they really are letting it down.
It's just the fact that it's like the guy literally didn't know what he was doing. You would never shoot a battle that way. You would never shoot a fight scene, and it's going to get worse later on with this one now, the final part. But it's kind of like everything feels too tongue-in-cheek. Everything feels like, I think it's great fun. Don't get me wrong, it is great fun. But at the same time, you could still have that great fun if you just took it a bit more serious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Fun doesn't mean silly.
There's an element of pantomime about it.
That's exactly it. That's exactly my point. And to me, it feels like we're sitting down with the way it's shot as well. It feels like we're sitting down watching a stage, in front of a stage, watching a show, as opposed to being in amongst it. Because the camera is never in the action.
And also, I think some of the way he's directed the actors, I almost expect every now and again, completely seriously, someone to stand there with their legs apart and go, whoa, like the actors from Blackadder, because of the way he directed.
And again, it's some of the delivery is just like, why would you even do it? Why would you even do that? But the Destroyer is gorgeous, absolutely stunning.
Got an air of Tim Curry from Legend about it, isn't it?
Yeah. I think he's a little bit more successful though, because he's not directly trying to be as sort of demonic. I mean, it's very demonic, but I mean, like in Legend, he was very devil-like,
Yeah.
whereas this thing is something else.
He must have for you very much to my son.
Same shot of that,
Fear not.
because they can only afford to rotoscope the fingers once.
No, you were bold, Merlin. You will not kill.
What? Do you know who you're talking to?
It's a weakness, this lack of spirit.
Spirit? Touch of daring do.
Bear this man.
That's
Throw him to the floor.
just blew his head off. I would have cried.
You should have just walked through it and go bang.
Oh, he might not. I will.
Yeah.
Leave my world. Must die. Take me.
Knight Commander.
There should have definitely been the sound of a bang after that.
No prisoner.
See, they didn't even try to light that ball, even though most of it was off camera.
That's all we're paid for. So let's do it with them style.
They could be running into Tesco's, couldn't they? And again, the choreography is good. The choreography, fight choreography, for what it is not bad at all.
It's like watching something you've pinched and zoomed in on your phone, though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
My mother was destroyed.
Like when that explosion went off and the guy went scrolled past the camera and done the somersault. Why would you put you've blocked half the shot with the front of a truck and all you see this guy spring across the screen. Like, I'm expecting somebody to hold up a 7.8.
This will soon be dead. Oh, the Excalibur. So powerful.
Why don't you come and get it?
An excellent suggestion.
Should have been an effect in there somewhere. Just a little bit of an effect.
Even a slight glow around the fingers would have done it. Would have.
Yeah, just literally point the light of the hand off camera.
In a circle. Oh, well, we've got the paper.
This is true. I got break such an enchantment.
Wonderful.
I feel so bad. Why haven't you done anything yet?
Now, why you wouldn't voice dub that, I don't know.
Good.
A little bit of ADR and a sound effect over the voice as well.
Nothing.
See what the world for.
It looks like an animatronic mountain as well, doesn't it?
What was that, Chris?
That looks a bit like an animatronic mouth, and all the way the lips are moving.
Yeah. No, it's very, very well done makeup. The makeup is absolutely. The makeup is absolutely on point. It's one of the best Doctor Who makeups I've ever seen.
what I'm afraid of order, but
See, that edit was a little bit sluggish for that. They should have cut that just as the Brigadier run in. Because he runs in screaming Ace, and then he's just standing there waiting.
There's this woman with a pet demon, and I seem to remember a chalk circle that was supposed to protect us from harm.
Yes, I get it. Dear Ace. Where's Excalibur?
The woman seemed to want it very badly. Very, very badly. So we gave it to her.
Good.
But it's not our fault. What if I had some nitro, then maybe I can...
Exotic alien swords. Please come by. This is...
Yeah, it's really sort of this episode here where Ace really starts to grow up. It's a shit can't tell effect.
Flash of light.
It's a companion. Definitely footprints in there somewhere.
I think I get the idea that they're trying to make the archaeology look like trenches, and they just weren't deep enough. And I think they should have just gone a little bit further. That's really been my biggest gripe with this episode overall, is the fact that they should have gone that little bit further.
Station one.
What's our next move?
Well, first we go through this. Brigadier, I go first. Ace. Correct. And you. Now. The drama. Very similar to comedy. All a matter of timing.
Come on, the other side, looking like Wonder Woman. I don't know what to tell him. I don't know what to say.
It's not the destroyer. More game can control the destroyer. Get it, chained up. With silver chains, get it.
But yeah, you've noticed now. I think that Sophie Aldrin has stopped really wearing the jacket now. She's dropped the whole Ace jacket, and she's much more of a. Well, she's much more. She's gone from being a girl now to being a woman, and that really sort of pays off much later on in Curse of Fenric.
Yeah, you're right.
What matter? I have Excalibur. Without it, Arthur sleeps forever. Merlin cannot find me ere I leave. See, 8-way home is almost complete. Cannot come through the vortex. You have allowed him access. Why?
so that you will be forced to release.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Bring him back at some point.
That effect didn't look quite as bad there when they materialised into the room.
Nothing ventured, Doctor.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole twirly things they will leave in.
Yeah, that was shit, I believe you called it.
You haven't won the game yet, Morgane.
I could always defeat you at chess, Merlin.
You've never been won in chess.
And way overuse of a fog machine.
And I have an ace up my sleeve.
Very fun. Destroy him.
What is it to be, Morgane?
He's held in silver with leather straps.
I will pray.
Everybody else see the problem.
Give me Excalibur, or I will loose the destroyer upon the world.
Don't be a fool.
He's hulking out. Again, I would have liked to have gone a little bit further, but that makeup is stunning.
Four more game. You think this will solve anything?
If you could see all of it instead of having the camera like right in, that would be something.
Oh, you always panned out a bit there. That's the first.
About time.
No, it's a great actually in this bit that they're not actually looking at people's noses.
Prince,
I'm sick of seeing the underside of people's brains.
or wished it so.
Can I have a word?
Doctor,
Bring it here. Bring it away. Nice.
Now, the destroyer's free. There's no. Should they have killed the brig here? Yes.
Yeah.
So-
If they killed the brig there, maybe he'd been buried somewhere else and not come back as a fucking Cyberman.
Yeah. Well, it's not this bit. It's this bit coming up now that is where he should have died.
How did you know?
But there's this.
How did you
The
know?
destroyer's now loose. He's in this room, and there's no visual effects going off whatsoever. And what's about to happen is that they're about to do some external visual effects and forget about the interior.
Stand back!
sorry, Doctor, I think I'd rather more expendable.
So what I would actually do with this is, as he's doing this, to not just have these shitty effects go off, like it just looked like he just set off a massive fart, but to actually have people drop in.
Get off my world.
Stop him.
Like what is supposed to be happening there? Like, why is that going off out the outside and not inside? Dark magic doesn't like the interior of brickwork.
I just do the best I can.
Yeah, that's one hell of a death. I don't know if you caught it, but he shoots him in the chest and then in the neck.
The way to do it, the brig didn't fuck about, did he?
Oh shit! That's pretty bad to shoot somebody in the neck. Yeah, this is where he should have died.
You stupid stomach. I get it now, so.
Though this bit does play off much later on in the Matt Smith episode.
Nonsense, Doctor.
Dead.
Really, Doctor, you don't think I'd be so stupid to stay inside you? Really, Doctor, Paige. Paige,
Yes, Spooky.
I'm getting too old for this sort of thing. It's all yours from now on. I'm going home for Doris.
Doris.
Yes, my wife.
Oi, should we be getting back?
Yes, Ace is right. I think there's some clearing up to be done.
Yes. Small nuclear missile pop down the nature reserve.
It's a nuclear missile. Last look to you as
It
well.
kind of comes out of nowhere. It's not. It's referenced once in the episode, really, and then it comes back again.
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
think they should have leaned a bit more onto the fact that the convoy is stranded.
I've no idea.
And the convoy is stranded, and they can't get the signal out to let people know that it's stranded.
Is the code.
And again, this model shot really should have been done again.
Replace Excalibur. Arthur will rise.
I think the honor belongs to Ruby. The doctor should do it. No, my lord. You were the victim.
Give me that.
Ace, have you no sense of occasion?
She's alive.
The Matrix.
Except for
Yeah, early Matrix.
Yeah, I think as a kid it was just sort of this episode that made me kind of fall in love with Sophie Aldred just a little bit.
Where is the king?
Dear Doctor, King died.
Because really before this, you never saw her shape or her form, or she always looked kind of.
Oh, well, that's not
She kind of looked like a Mr. Man with this big puffy jacket on and just this pair of legs to go to the bottom.
What's up, old warning? Look at here. Eunice, see to the ship.
Explosions, Doctor.
Now you're talking.
Yes, we'll give Arthur a warrior's burial.
Yeah, I'm all for jokes, but like. Again, they're trying the best that they can with what they got.
Is it? Not rather than a thought back.
But given how serious the situation is supposed to be,
I should die with honor. Fools are poised, ready to let death fly. Machines of death again, screaming from above. Of light, bright among the sun. Not a war between armies, nor a war between nations, but just death, death gone mad. Dies to the sinners. And no tears, only ashes. Is this honor? Is this war? Are these are weapons you would use? Tell me! No.
great delivery.
Stop it. Again. End the madness.
And again, sort of height of. At this point when this episode went up, we were sort of at the sort of 2 minutes to midnight with the Cold War.
Honor in single combat.
Again. Burning. Crimson deceit. Another trick. No. Don't you?
I do find it's weird that she's had the costume change though. It's just a bit odd that there's no explanation.
One star. This is beautiful. Where does he lie? I would look at him one final time. Crumbled to dust. She would even come back. I shall never see him again. Arthur! We were together in the woods of Seven. Honey! I'm sorry, Marky. It's over.
Again, two good actors doing the best they can and it pulling it right off. And the wig that he's wearing as Anselin as well isn't bad. Like by some, I've seen worse. There we go.
Gallifrey.
Again, it just goes to show, the Doctor has more power than he. This version of the Doctor used his powers a bit more liberally than most.
Peaceful, isn't it? Silence after battle. I'm sorry, I've not been a very good host. Are you all right out here?
I'm in the garden.
I don't suppose you've seen Doris, have you?
Bye.
Going somewhere, dear? Out.
jump.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Well, try not to break too many speed records.
Or traffic laws.
No.
Yeah, Show Young's there. Sitting next to Brigadier Bombera and Yasmin Khan, apparently.
Kevin who?
What about some?
She's like John Cena, man. Yeah. Oh, she-
Fish that's ready for us to get home,
I mean, the music's just shit.
I agree with that.
I think you're insulting shit there, Colin.
I mean, dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee, dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee. What are you making like?
In the groove. Candlewick Green music.
And that's the end of that matter. There's things in that episode that don't need to be there. There's things that they should have changed. There's things that they should have done differently. For me, I mean, one of the things I would have definitely have left out is in episode 1, there's the whole bit where Sophie Ace is talking to the doctor, and she's asking him why it's so dark in the TARDIS. And it's so dark in there because it's a shit set and it's all knackered and they're not lighting it to show you how bad it is. And what you would call attention to that, I don't know. Just ignore the fact that the lights are off. The staging is awful. The blocking is just terrible. It's some of the worst blocking I've seen. The costuming could have done a bit better job. The expansion on the story, it makes it makes it awkward, clunky. The editing could be sharpened up, but I think there's a good story there. I genuinely think there's a really, really good story there. That if you just cut out all the crap.
There is a good story there.
I think so. And then you've got the absolutely gorgeous looking destroyer. And if they just I think you could take especially the scene where he breaks free. From that moment on, he should be like as the second those chains start breaking, you should start inserting little VFX just to change the lighting, just to change like for example above where as he's breaking free where you got that sort of ruined you should start like with Ghostbusters where you see the sky just cloud over and like lightning striking. That would be something that you could do. But again, you had that whole bit whereby those green gas bombs were going off outside and nothing was happening inside. So that's something that I would change. That is something that I would definitely, if it's happening outside, it should be happening inside as well. Lots of use of Top of the Pops fog, but overall, I think that, the rating on the episode, I believe is about 7.3, 7.4. I think that's fair. I think if you were to analyze it if you were to just listen to the episode as opposed to taking in everything, all the bad staging and everything, I think you're going to walk away with a decent story. I think that it needs to be edited. I think it does need to be edited back to a 3-episode story length for it to be really, really sharp. But for me, it's one of those episodes that after seeing it again, I would say, look, this is still the best version. If you watch the special edition version is horrendous. Don't watch that. It's really, really bad. They take everything that's bad about this episode and just put more effects on it, draw more attention to it. But if I was going to do it, I would edit it back down. None of the musical scores intrude on the dialogue, so again, that's a fault of the director. You would normally have the music complement what's going on in the scene. As it is, this music is just pop music being inserted, not even pop, elevated muzak being inserted over the top of just whatever's being on screen. and it doesn't even match what's going on screen. It's like they just found some standard music and went, let's just plonk that on there. That sounds a bit 80s. I mean, at the time it was, but I still walk away from this episode going, they could have done this so much better, and it would have just been a little bit of time, a little bit of extra money. I know they didn't have the money. Maybe they could have found it somewhere by, not having such, I don't want to say elaborate, but not trying to make sets that they possibly could have shot outside instead. So they could have drawn money from that. So yeah, I still walk away from the episode with my biggest walk away from that episode is always, what a shame. So now you've seen it, what do you think of that?
Well, I think the story and the take on the Arthurian legend, I think, like you say, there's a good story in there. I think if you was to compact that down to the 45-minute episode,
Yeah.
a few of the characters, and use that story as an early season episode of Stargate SG-1, it would work.
I mean, I know Ian's here and he's listening as well. I'm sure he's watching this as well. I'd like to know what you think as well, E. But it's one of those things that, like, because the episode got expanded on, things like the timings are off. Or like I said, you can see how long Brigadier spends in the helicopter. There's lots of interesting things that they put in. Like, for example, with Morgaine, where she tortures that woman to death. And she has that whole, bit. But then she restores that woman's blindness, her sight from a blindness. So there's this. She's not a complete barbaric character. She has humanity to her.
A bit like the Rani, you might say.
I would have said the Rani's a little less humane than Morgaine, but Morgaine has a bit more of. She's not doing it out of malice. She's doing it because she believes it's the right thing to do. There's no malice. She bears nobody a grudge. She even says to the Brigadier, I don't bear you any grudges, but the next time we fight, I'm going to kill him. That she's just putting out her cards on the table. She's very, very straight like that. A waste of the Destroyer, I think, a little bit because of the way he's used. I think it would have paid off a little better had the Brigadier died. That's my personal feeling on it.
It would have given the story more gravitas, definitely.
Yeah, good ideas, bad execution. Shame it wasn't Harper. Like the cast, I missed that then. I couldn't read it fast enough. I still can't read it because it's off my screen.
It says, like the cast, ending a bit weak, Sorceress in Holloway.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think she's been arrested, and so has Mordred. Potential to bring her back. I mean, there's that. The Destroyer's gone, shot in the neck by the brig. That's harsh. That was. I think if you look at the behind the scenes as well, you can clearly see like when he shoots him, it's like bang, 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 and then he goes boom, and it actually just spurts up with this sort of black blue out of the neck. So if we're talking about harsh deaths, like that's pretty bad. That's pretty severe.
He was asking for it.
Yeah, I know, but like a single shot to the head would have done it. Like he just for the neck. I mean, that's just cruelty.
He's a destroyer.
Yeah. Well, it's a case of his own medicine, like.
A sword, Rodney.
But I mean, like, I genuinely think that there's some great ideas in the episode. The idea of having the Arthurian legend be true, but be from another dimension. I think that makes, because of all the stuff with Merlin, all the stuff with the Lady of the Lake, it all ties in well with sort of the sort of UFO parallel world type of thing. I like the fact that the parallel world is a bit more magic based as opposed to technology based. That I think is a good idea, which could be expanded on. I find it, again, they execute some of the shots, like everything. This is really, if you go back, if you have a look at the special features, whereby some of the behind the scenes, where they talk about the actual fights that go on, the choreography on these stuntmen and extras to stage the battle, they really are putting in, they put in a lot of work for these fights. They taught how to swing the sword properly. They taught how to do it in a safe manner. They taught how to do it. So they spent a long time doing these, and then you just see shit. It's just like, oh, we're going to show you two fighting in front doing this, and everybody else in the background, you just fight, and we'll just keep the camera here. In fact, we keep the camera down here, looking up.
Yeah, it was shot bad.
It was very badly. Again, it reminded me of the gunfighting Naked Gun, whereby they're shooting each other, and the camera backs out, and they're like this far away from each other. And again, when those knights come running, there's people running this way all the time. And it's like, you can cut a reverse angle shot and just show somebody running into Tesco's, and it would look like the same thing. It would look seamlessly like the same shot. The location, waste of a location, because of the way it's shot, you have no sense of scale. Like, as far as I'm concerned, the skirmish that went on between UNIT and the Knights could have been a massive skirmish, or it could have been half a rugby team. I can't tell you how big the battle was. Like, it could have been a monster battle. There could have been 60 UNIT. There could have been 100 Knights, or there could have been 10 of each. I don't know. And again, there's no sense of where the pub is, as opposed to where the lake is, as opposed to where the old castle is. You don't get a sense of. I mean, you're told it's north, towards the lake, and then you're told that this place is nearby, but I feel like, given how much was shot on location, that they could have just, like, oh look, here's where things are. Let's look at the lake and look at where these places are, because it was all shot in one location. They chose this one place which happened to have these things, so they were all within proximity. It's just you would never know it. And as for the editing is pretty bad as well. I mean, the editing is probably doing what the director wanted, and is for the time, I think, because they were padding out a 3 episode into a 4 episode, I think it's doing a decent enough job. But I do think that you could sharpen it down, swap things around the order of it, and I think you would end up with a better flow to the story.
Perhaps you should do a recap.
I was thinking of doing a recut. I genuinely, I was thinking of. I think I could sit down and recut it, and actually end up with something that would actually fit a lot better. Because, like I said, with the Brigadier in the helicopter, you could introduce the Brigadier much later on. Instead of having him at the opening of episode 1, you could introduce the Brigadier much later on, and then you will automatically eliminate all the amount of time he spent in the helicopter. Especially, there's a weird bit in it as well, whereby he's fast asleep in the helicopter, and for no reason whatsoever, he wakes up. And there's no inkling as to why he's waking up. He just wakes up briskly. And it's like middle of the night, and he's still in the helicopter. And it's like, gee, where do they fly into? Like, it's just, and again, the stuff that I personally wouldn't have done, like having them all the nights stand in a row, Like you stagger them. You know, if you haven't got many people, the way you make it look like you've got more than you actually do is you have a couple stand closer to the camera and the other stand further back, and you stagger it, and that allows you to shoot through these people. It makes the crowd seem bigger. And they had enough there that I think that you could have got away and made it look like a much bigger episode. As it is, I think that because of the way it's shot, because everything's shot in mid to close up, with very little in the way of wide angle shots, I think you get like one major wide angle shot of the battle, which ends up being consumed by fog, so you don't get to see it. I think that's pretty much it. I don't really think there is. Oh, there's the one with Anselin and Mordred where the Doctor runs in and shouting stop. But that's kind of only a sort of that's a full body shot to a wide full body. But I would have come back again. It's not knowing. I think maybe it's probably due to the fact that this director was always used to working inside a studio for a Saturday morning TV show. This guy did actually direct Basil Brush.
Boom, boom.
Well, yeah. That's why there's so many boom lines in this episode.
And on that note, I am going to have to bail out, mate.
That's no problem, man. Look, it's coming to 10 o'clock. We've been we're doing it. This is our sort of 2 hours. We can leave it there. So I'm okay with leaving it there. I'm just glad we got to do it tonight as opposed to doing it next week.
Yeah, well, we did have I know it wasn't broadcast, but we did, me, you and Ian did have a bit of a chat about it yesterday. So
yeah. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway, because again, it's still, even though it's the execution of this episode isn't great, I think there's still a lot of fun. If you take away all the tongue-in-cheek bits, all the real campness out of it, all the wah wah wah, take all that out of it, I think you do end up with what I think is actually a pretty good Doctor Who story, with some good performances from Sylvester, from Jean. I think you do end up with something that is a very real, good episode of Doctor Who that has a lot of potential. That's it. That's the key to this episode. This episode is an episode that has potential but never achieved it.
agreed.
So we're going to leave that there. I did have my list. Where's it to? So whereby is it? Here we go. So that was Battlefield. Next week we're going to do Tooth and Claw on Sunday, which is only a 45-minute episode. So I think we might squeeze in Curse of Fatal Death on that one as well.
Yep, we can do that, definitely.
Yeah, and then after that, the week after that, we're doing the 10th Planet.
Well,
Then World Enough in Time.
I won't be about for that week. I will be away up in Hull.
No, for 10th Planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 10th Planet, World Enough in Time. I mean, you can always watch 10th Planet on the next day.
Yeah, I could do.
Yeah, so, yeah. World Enough in Time, Twice Upon a Time. Now, I've made a slight change to the order here, just to break up, because we had a couple of Cybermen episodes, and it was going to be 2 more Cybermen, but I've swapped that for Enlightenment. So, it now goes World Enough in Time, Twice Upon a Time, Enlightenment, Macra Terra, Dead Planet, Day of the Dalek Special Edition, 2 more Cybermen, Gunfighters, and Scream of the Shalka. And that's the rundown for the next 10 weeks.
Splendid.
So we have a schedule.
We do.
We absolutely have a schedule. Anyway, if you've joined us, I want to say thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy this. Again, this episode, it's a little bit shit. That's the best thing I can say about it. But it is a bit of fun as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So thanks for joining us, Chris. Thank you, Ian, for stopping on by. I hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll see you next Sunday at 8 p.m. Hopefully, if YouTube doesn't decide to have a shit fit for more Doctor Who. Take care.
Good night.